Hey guys, this is Gabby Douglas. If you have an active lifestyle like me, hydration is key. That's why I love the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. Blended with whole fruits, coconut water, and more electrolytes than some of the leading sports drinks. Hydration Watermelon is the cleaner way to hydrate, with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So you can recover and perform at your peak ability during the summer heat. Order online or through the app for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
From All-American soccer player to professional overseas to now college head coach, he is Joey O'Keefe, and he joins us now on episode 26 of the Masters in Coaching podcast. Let's go! Welcome into episode number 26 of the Masters in Coaching podcast here on iHeartRadio or wherever you download your podcast. I am Tim Cates. Thanks for being with us. Excited to talk to this week's guest, the head soccer coach at Westcliff University in Irvine, former first-team All-American soccer player, Conference Player of the Year, Biola, played soccer professionally overseas, worked for the Galaxy, was the Coach of the Year as a high school coach at Pacific Christian in Newport Beach, and now doing great things at Westcliff University. He is Joey O'Keefe, and he joins us now here on the Masters in Coaching podcast. Joey, how you doing? Thanks for coming on.
My goodness, you do a great job of hyping me up. I tell you what, I couldn't have asked. I couldn't have paid for something like that. I need to have you follow me around.
It's well-deserved, no doubt about that. First off, tell us kind of what's happening at Westcliff. I know you guys had a great inaugural season 2 years ago. This last year, though, I understand the sports world kind of got shut down at Westcliff. Where are you guys right now? What's the last year, I guess, been like for you?
Okay, so the last year and a half, I could say, has been a wild ride at Westcliff because I began the men's and women's soccer program back in February of 2019. Had an amazing inaugural season for both programs. The combined record, I think we were 19-6-6 or something like that, something right around there, 19-6-3 or something. So an amazing first year running two programs. And Westcliff University is an incredibly ambitious university and what we're going after for an athletic standpoint, especially in the department that I'm in. So we decided to bump up the number of recruits that we have in the program. So now instead of having just a normal roster like you'd have throughout the U.S., a normal roster of a soccer team would be just about 30, just under 30. We have made the decision as an athletics department to go ahead and house a varsity and a junior varsity team for each of our programs across the university. So we now carry a roster of just under 60. We carry a full JV and varsity team, which has been an incredible experience getting to pioneer something like that. But with that, also give the opportunity to hire on and bring some new staff in. And the university brought on an amazing older friend of mine, Tom Lancaster, and he now runs the women's program, and I'm strictly just on the men's side. But it's allowed both of us to have the freedom to really dive deep into each specific gender and run a program. And I tell you what, I'm just so excited to get out on the field. Haven't had a competitive game since November of 2019. So it's as much as the players are itching to get back out there, coaches are as well.
Joey, soccer-wise, what have you guys been able to do the last 16 months?
Yeah, so we what makes Westcliff a little bit unique is I guess the price of tuition made it so easy and affordable based off the competition is in the area of the Division II schools. There's so many high-quality universities nearby, but it allowed us to bring in so many high-quality athletes for a lower tuition price to kind of kick things off and get started well. But because of the pandemic, there were no sports, man. And you know this better than anybody, right? There was no sports going on, no youth sports in our area during those crucial months of recruiting and signing student athletes out of high school. So consequently, we weren't able to see much of the American student athletes play, whether that be high school or that be, the club travel sports. So we, as a men's soccer program, we opted to go very heavily overseas who were still playing sports and watch countless hours of live streams of games and sign just an incredible amount of international student athletes that are going to be starting to hear us in the fall. So it's going to be such a fun dynamic of clashing of cultures, and that's what most of our coaching staff is that way as well. So many coaches from different cultures and backgrounds and countries that bring in their own unique spin on the game, spin on and connections to get guys to play outside of the university when they're done. And so we've been training. We've been training a lot. We've been recruiting a lot, and we're excited to bring kind of the culmination here together once we get here to about less than 10 weeks. I think we're 6 weeks away from first official week of double days and training camps.
Wow, you guys have certainly been busy. Joey O'Keefe, head coach at Westcliff University, our guest here on the Masters in Coaching podcast. It sounds like you run your program very much like a professional team with a first team, a second team, and with guys constantly competing.
I'd say that the professional atmosphere is something that a coach in a position like myself, we strive to make our programs replicate. Mm-hmm. Very fortunate to be able to spend some good time with the LA Galaxy and the LA Galaxy 2 team. Or I guess with the scouting and that sort of thing that happens. And mm-hmm. one of my previous main assistant coach, Steven Campos, is now, is a full-time paid assistant coach for LAFC's second team. And so that great connection of having to be able to see how they run their programs to try to do the best we can to replicate that. And I think what it does the best, what the whole reason you've got a second team is to be able to groom them, to mature them, get them quality minutes as a younger student athlete, as a freshman, sophomore, just like you would in a high school. As freshmen, sophomores are entering into a brand new phase of life, a brand new phase of competition. They're playing against men instead of boys now. It lets them mature at a better rate than just kind of throwing them into the fire right away. So that's what our program is aiming to do, and having a full roster of mainly older players in that varsity team, where there definitely is a couple of younger guys who can sneak their way in, who've definitely shown that level of play. But those two teams make for such amazing competition. Every day is a battle because guys are constantly trying to want to get to that first team, and the guys who make that first varsity team are doing everything they can to maintain their spot on there. It's just a wonderful atmosphere of competition that I think that's what we've thrived in the most at Westcliff.
Competition is a beautiful thing. As you mentioned, it brings out the best in everybody, fighting for jobs, trying to take people's jobs in the sports profession. That is 100% true. Let's go back to you as a player at Biola, first team All-American, Conference Player of the Year. You play 4 years there. You go play overseas. When your soccer career was done, is coaching, scouting, staying in the game of soccer something you really wanted to do? Obviously, you've done that, but is that something the goal was to stay in soccer somehow?
Tim, I had no idea. I had no idea when I came home. I had a business degree from Biola. I knew that I loved to invest in people, but I had no idea that the passion that I had was for younger people and through sports. The sport had taken me so many countries throughout the world. I think 5 continents now. It's taken me so many places, or 6 continents. It's taken me so many places that I never knew that I'd be able to combine the passion that I had for the sport to actually be a full-time coach and to make a living and do what I love every single day. Mm-hmm. I think that the opportunities that Biola gave me, the opportunities that leagues that I played in over the summer, played for clubs like the Seahorses that play in the third-tier English in the American system, and also those are what gave me the opportunity to go do it professionally and live in Salzburg, Austria. And that opportunity subsequently, as soon as I moved back home, gave me the opportunity to jump on board working with LA Galaxy, and then gave me this opportunity here at Westcliff. And I think that each different time, I had no idea what that next step was. I had no idea that I could actually make this a real life dream. And the path was very fortunate. The path was laid out for me before I even knew it was going to happen.
Joey, is there somebody or some buddies who you look up to as a mentor?
Oh, of course. My goodness. I think the zero of my own thoughts are actually my own thoughts, right? They're all, I'm a blend of just amazing coaches who I had before me. And that leads from a head coach at Biola and Todd Elkins, who was so instrumental in my decision to become a college coach, to an assistant coach, Phil Iovino at Biola University, who's a still weekly, daily mentor in my life now, especially spiritually. And that leads from all the different coaches that you have that bring such a different dynamic, different culture, different background they were from. None of my thoughts are my own. Everything that I've had is not original. But my goal is to take little nuggets from each of those amazing coaches and try to do the best I can as such a young coach, getting the opportunity to do this. I'm so blessed to have this opportunity. But to stumble my way through, to have a lot of grace from a lot of administration and players to see out the process, and it's been a dream come true.
You said you've been to 6 different continents because of soccer. You played overseas. You've seen the game around the world. How is the competition in the United States getting to the world competition? Is it at that level yet? Are we getting there? Is there still ways to go? Where are we right now as far as compared to the international game?
Wonderful question. I had the opportunity with the LA Galaxy to do some scouting for the second team, not just here in the U.S., in California, Las Vegas, but also overseas in the UK, in England, London, and Manchester, to see the different talent and see guys that we're looking to bring to come to the LA Galaxy organization. And I would say something different, and of course living there is such an important thing as well, living overseas, but the U.S. is so early in its infancy of soccer. And because we're a culture dominated, the old pastime, right, is baseball. It's always been the pastime of the U.S. The current dominant sports, you've got the football and the basketball. And I really think soccer is an opportunity that is so huge in the coming future. We've got Americans playing in the top leagues, the top clubs in the entire world that we've never had that before. We've never had so many Americans doing that. And I think that we're not even in a golden age yet, I don't think, of players. We've got an incredible amount of young, under 23-year-old talent playing in the top leagues in the world. And the sport is booming for us in the next 5-6 years. But I don't think the best is yet to come. Being part of in the club culture of coaching in the youth soccer development, it is a vast difference from when it was my growing up, of how things are structured, the different periodizations to keep players' bodies healthy and performing at peak levels. It's just the science has come so far in the sport of soccer where it had not previously. And I think that the age of soccer is definitely coming not even to fruition yet. We're still in such an infancy where we're getting better and better. And the U.S. just won a massive tournament against Mexico. We beat them in the final, and it's such a big moment for the U.S. to do well in these major tournaments. And next up is the World Cup coming soon, the qualifications, and so all of us are looking forward to that and trying to get back in the World Cup after a non-appearance in the previous one. So we're looking forward to that.
Now, something that's happening right now is the Euro 2020, and its final is coming up in a couple of weeks here. Help somebody like me understand what is the Euro 2020? I mean, is it a chance for the stars that usually play in the Premier League or the La Liga to take a break and go play for their countries? And it's basically like what, the Championship of Europe? Is that what it is?
Oh, Tim, you bring up a great point. So Europe's number one sport across every single country is soccer. Right. So it's so hard for us to understand how big of a tournament that is because we just don't have the same comparison here.
Okay.
Because all the countries around us are not the same. We've got, Canada, Mexico, and as the further and further you get south, we don't share the same love of the one major sport. Where Europe, that is it. Mm-hmm. These kids, it's such a cheap sport to play that it's the common man sport. So everyone from the age of walking at 3 years old is starting to roll a ball around. And so for them, it's the lifeline of the entire culture. It's what you look forward to. So many working class citizens are looking forward to watching their country represent. They all have their faces painted and the chants and everything like that. But you just have that part of Europe where my wife and I got to go spend some time in London to go watch a couple games out there, and the environment of a match, of sitting there in the game and how much passion there is and true love and joy behind watching your team play just doesn't exist yet in many clubs here in the U.S. It's starting to, which is so exciting. Some of the clubs like an LAFC who's got an amazing fan base, Atlanta who has 70, 80, 90,000 fans in a stadium for soccer. It's incredible that the kind of growth we're getting in the U.S. But for the Euros, it's the biggest thing. You've got the World Cup as the number one sport for soccer, and next is the Euros. And even all of us Americans who there's no chance to ever participate because we're not in Europe, it's such a big tournament for all of us to watch. And the world's biggest stars are all on there. The world's biggest stars all come from Europe, and getting to see them play for their countries, different level of passion. So exciting.
Joey, you talked about earlier about, recruiting and going outside the United States to bring in players. And I look at your roster. I mean, Germany, Brazil, England, Haiti, Guatemala, Belgium, France. You've got players from all over the world. Is moving forward post-pandemic, is that something you want to continue to do, is bring international players to Westcliff to play with the American players on your team?
It is, Tim, and I'll tell you why. I had the wonderful opportunity at Biola University to have a few players from different countries when I was there.
Okay.
And it gave them the opportunity to experience that American culture, which was fantastic for them. But conversely, it gave us Americans the opportunity to basically have a free place to stay if we wanted to go visit another country in Europe. And that's exactly what it became for us. It opened us opportunities to where I got to go try out for clubs in some friends' local towns just because I was there for the week visiting. And it just opened up a door of opportunity for myself. So I'm kind of more of a living example of how much success can come of that. It shouldn't be seen as hey, they're coming over and they're taking these scholarships.
Right.
They're taking over. We live in a sport. We live in an industry of sports that's competition. You want the best competition you can possibly have. There's such fantastic level of competition here in the U.S., so we do definitely have these American guys on our roster who are very high level, and we've also got these guys who are playing for the Bundesliga, Germany, top level academy, highest prospects youth in Europe, in actually Germany. They're signed to play for our teams as well. So it opens up that door of opportunity for them to come here and experience the U.S. and California and Orange County in particular. But it opens up an amazing door of opportunities for our Americans to be able to branch out of themselves. And if they decide they want to do something similar like I did, that I had the opportunity to go play overseas, this is a door open for them.
Joey O'Keefe, head coach at Westcliff University in Irvine, our guest here on the Masters in Coaching podcast. And a great time to tell everybody about the Masters in Coaching and Athletics Administration program at Concordia University, Irvine. The summer session is in progress, but it's never too early to start looking at the fall term, which is coming up. You can find out all about it, see if you're interested, see if it's a right fit for you at cui.edu/coaching. And I encourage you to check out the California Coaches Conference. It's going to be online July 12th through the 22nd. You can register right now also at cui.edu/coaching. You could be an individual attendee, an entire coaching staff. If you're an alumni of the Masters in Coaching and Athletics Administration program, it'd be a perfect fit for you as well. Check it all out at cui.edu/coaching. Now, Joey, you're somebody who's gone through the Masters in Coaching and Athletics Administration program at Concordia University, Irvine. Why? Why did you go back and get your master's?
I never loved school. All right, let me start off by
Who
saying
does?
that. Now I'm an educator. I'm seeking to be an administrator in the future, right? But finished off my bachelor's degree and was excited. But there came a point when I thought, you know what? If I want to continue in this career that I've kind of chosen down, and athletics is my big passion, there is not every list of Google I found, Concordia was in the top ranked every single time. So you know what? They're in my back door. They're in my backyard. It's right here. And I had so many examples of going through all these different college soccer coaches and football college coaches, figuring out what they did for their own educational career. And there was a common theme. I kept seeing NCAA program from Concordia University again and again and again. And so I sought out some advice from personal people who I had in my own life who had done the exact same program, asked them about their own experience. And then they had an info night that I got an email for. And I said, you know what? I've been thinking about this, been praying about this. I'm just going to go to the info night. And I went there, and there was an individual who had graduated who did a phenomenal job about just describing his own loves and shortcomings of the program. He was very honest about both. I said, you know what? I'm just going to jump into it with both feet. Didn't know they offered two programs, which I didn't know off the bat. They offered that MCAA program, which is Masters in Coaching of Athletic Administration, and then they also offer the MSCE, which is the Masters of Science in Coaching and Education and Exercise Science. I, being a more science guy, I decided to go that route because I do want to be an educator and I want to be able to teach classes, and that just opened up an extra door for me to teach some more of the science classes here in the future. So that was my introduction into it.
Joey, what would you tell those folks listening right now who are maybe interested in pursuing that master's degree or maybe on the fence and not sure if this is the right program for them? What would you say to them?
I would encourage by saying the people that you are in the class with are just incredible because everyone comes from a different background. We had people who were middle school teachers seeking to be an AD in the future. We had people who were high school teachers who were also coaching at the high school level, but they knew to get to the next pay raise for their own public high school, they had to get that degree. So that's why they did it. You had people who were seeking to be athletic directors in the future, and they needed this degree to go on and do that. And then you had people such as myself who were we had some grad assistants from Concordia. We had some assistant coaches at different universities, and myself already a head coach at a university, who were all taking the same course, and we all got to bring different scenarios. We got different answers for different things because we each have different rules. Some of us can recruit, some of us cannot. And you have a hodgepodge, a nice melting pot of people with different backgrounds and experiences everyone's able to offer the same type of, to answer the same question differently. And so I did the hybrid of in-person classes and online courses, and both are fantastic. I think my favorite part about the program was the professors. They were incredible. They don't do it for just because it's a job and it pays. You genuinely got the feel that if they weren't paid they might still be doing this. Like they just cared that much. And you don't get that very often.
Yeah, that is a great program. For those listening, you can find out more, including the coaching conference coming up later on in July at cui.edu/coaching. Check it out right now. Joey, I appreciate the time. I appreciate the conversation. Continued success at Westcliff. You guys are going to get back on the field. You're going to have a great season. I know, no doubt about it. I talked to your athletic director, Sean Harris, a couple weeks ago on the podcast. He fires me up. I love his energy and his passion for what he is doing. I love talking to you about your passion for soccer. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. And anyone thinking about this conference going on in the summer, I can't tell you enough how happy I was that I opened up the door and actually just decided to go for it and do it. And so if you're thinking about it, you're on the fence, would love to see you there at that conference this summer, guys.
All right, there's Joey O'Keefe, the head coach at Westcliff University in Irvine. Had their season shut down this last year because of the pandemic after a great inaugural season. He has got that men's soccer program doing big things already as they go into unofficially year 2 after missing last season. We appreciate Joey and his time. We appreciate, of course, all the folks at Westcliff University and our friends at Concordia University Irvine. Again, the coaching conference coming up July 12th. It starts. Find out more at cui.edu/coaching, cui.edu/coaching. You're enjoying your summer right now, but maybe thinking about taking that next step in the Masters in Coaching Athletics Administration program at Concordia University Irvine. The fall term is right around the corner. Again, find out more information. Just log on, see what it's all about. Ask for more information if you're interested. cui.edu/coaching. Thanks again to Joey O'Keefe. Thanks to you for listening to this week's episode of the Masters in Coaching podcast. Until next time, Tim Cates saying so long, everybody.
Hey guys, this is Gabby Douglas. If you have an active lifestyle like me, hydration is key. That's why I love the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. Blended with whole fruits, coconut water, and more electrolytes than some of the leading sports drinks. Hydration Watermelon is the cleaner way to hydrate, with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So you can recover and perform at your peak ability during the summer heat. Order online or through the app for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.